Hi, I'm Chris Clark, Artistic Director of the 29th Annual Whitaker St. Louis International Film Festival. Entrenched here in Zoom Studio West in my home, talking to some of our guest directors. We are here with director Eric Schultz and former St. Louis resident and star of the film Minor Premise, Sathya Sridharan. Welcome to you both, guys. Eric's from Chicago right now, and Sathya is in New York. Thanks for joining us. Films come to the festival in a variety of ways. You know, they're the big Hollywood studio tentpole films, lots of stars that we get from Fox Searchlight or Sony Classics or things. And then another layer is distributors. We've worked with various distributors for a number of years, some for a long time, some are relatively new, like Circle Collective, that sent me a random email, seems like 1,000 years ago, that said, hey, we have this film we want to talk to you about. And I considered it and looked at it and was interested. Lo and behold, that I learned later that the star, Sathya, was from St. Louis, which made it even more special in my mind, but I was already interested. So this film was originally a short subject that also starred Sathya, and from a smaller film to this bigger film. Eric, was that the plan the whole time?
No, actually, yeah, it's interesting. The feature film was written first, and then we ended up making the short film after we already had a feature script in place. So it was a little bit actually of a reverse engineer. So the short film was something that we did as a team, as a proof of concept for being able to make the feature. And it deals with, you know, one of the sort of crucial turning points in the film where Ethan, the main character, gets a mysterious notebook delivered to him and has a phone call with his mom, and there's a cryptic message that essentially sends him down the rabbit hole that ends up being what the feature delves into. But that was something that we actually made about 1.5 years before we made the feature, and that's how Sathya and I got connected. We were, you know, auditioning folks for the short film, and one of our mutual good friends, Alex Bro, who's also an actor in New York, recommended Sathya, and Sathya came in, did a great audition, and we cast him in the short, and then that sort of started our collaboration that ultimately results in the feature a little bit later. So that's how it all came to be.
I am and always have been into head-banging weird science like this one is. And
oh, great.
The film just kind of, it's one of those films that just kind of drops you in right. There's no lengthy explanation and back up to the science. You're supposed to kind of just get into it right away. And thankfully I did, and the audience can, because something so complicated like that, you would have wasted half the film trying to explain, getting to that point. So I liked just kind of being dropped into the action, not midstream, but, there's a lot had happened before the film started. And poor Sathya, you looked injured and sweaty and bloody, and just like out of your mind, which you kind of were the whole time. So what a performance. It was hard to watch sometimes because I felt bad for you as a human body. But how was it hard to get in and out of that space and multiple head spaces over and over and over again like that?
Well, I appreciate that. First of all, we should say that our wonderful makeup designer did an incredible job collaborating with Eric on making me look that sickly and terrible. And so I kudos to Adelina, because she's a rock star.
Yeah, she was great.
Yeah, I mean, this experience is, I feel like I as an actor am playing catch up with the script just as much as Ethan is playing catch up with the things that are happening to him. So in a way, there was a kind of disorientation from going from one section to another section as an actor that was useful to me as to play Ethan, because Ethan doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't really know what's next. He doesn't really know what's just happened. All he can do is stay in the present moment and try to solve the thing that's happening in these 6 minutes that he has available to him. So in that way, it's actually kind of, there's a lot of chaos swirling around on a film set. There's a lot of chaos swirling around in the brain of an actor, but it actually makes things a lot easier to just sort of attend to the task at hand, stay in the present moment. But thankfully I had really wonderful guides like Eric and our writers, Thomas and Justin, sort of guide me, sort of let me know where in the script I was and what was happening, what had just happened. Because yeah, you got to do a lot of math to play a part like this. So I was grateful to have steady hands guide me.
Yeah. So, back to the weird science a little bit. So there's a lot of physics and a lot of stuff that I kind of recognize bits and pieces, but not all of it in a row. Do you have a science background yourself, Eric? Where did, apparently it's legit, all the way through, except it doesn't really work, but, but, the methodology and the machinery, it really had a real look to it, kind of like Fly, kind of stuff. So, where did all, did you have input? Or how did it all come together?
So I studied psychology in college. That was but it was I was more interested in social psychology and things of that nature. I mean, I dabbled in neuroscience courses, but the real sort of brains behind the authenticity that you're talking about was Justin Moretto, who was one of my co-writers. It was. So Justin is a neuroscientist by trade. He has a master's from Johns Hopkins in I believe well, I can't recall the specific field, but essentially he was the one that lent that authenticity, both in terms of the jargon and the dialogue and the script and the theory behind it all. And then, down to when we were on set, really being a consultant, a scientific consultant kind of on everything that was done. He worked really, really closely with the art department to make sure that all of the production design that we used was up to snuff. And then even, in the directing Sathya in a lot of the moments in terms of, how he would pick up and checked, for instance, like the coils on the gamma knife. Those were all sorts of things that we leaned on Justin for. So that was always like a really exciting part of the process, was sort of diving into something that was so densely based in neuroscience and also the theoretical side of it and what was potentially possible.
Yeah, I really enjoyed, the sciencey, geeky part of it, seeing the little different bits of the neurological paths of the brain representing different sectors.
Yeah.
And, one of the stars of the show, unheralded and uncredited, was The Notebook. That it's like Laura Palmer's diary, that, what an artifact that would be, because there was so much written in there, and maybe it was just jokes and, on the other pages, but it looked like it was a scientist's notebook from end to end. And I believe awesome. That it possibly was.
It was.
There's some crazy things in that notebook.
Yeah, it was a comment. So that was, the notebook itself was created by the art, by the props department, but that was just, a lot of that was Justin's sketches and notes of his own. And then I think some of the crazier stuff in it too were stream of consciousness writings of my own, sort of in character as the Ethan, but or as like the blackout, the Ethan and the blackouts. But yeah, it was sort of an amalgamation of the different writers on the project and sort of the brain trust around that. But a lot of the things that you're talking about came directly from diagrams and schematics that Moretto had come up with during the development.
I'll overshare a little bit. I have very close personal real life experience with somebody who has dissociative identity disorder and multiple
Oh, wow.
personalities. So sometimes I'm really bad at it, but sometimes I do recognize the subtle differences when personalities shift. And I think, to your credit, Sathya, you kind of did a pretty good job at, the subtle, just the effect of, moving your shoulders and the way the head is tilted and looks. And I've been nervously watching you this whole time. If you were going to light up a cigarette, I was going to get real nervous because I know which personality that was. So, again, it's hard to shift, as an actor in the moment to do that. So I just kept watching. I was just kind of fascinated, and I rewatched it yesterday morning, and it was just, I see more every time.
Yeah, I think with that, it was less useful for me to think of them as different personalities, and more so to think of Ethan as a collection of dials. His brain has a collection of dials, and that in these different sections, it's just different dials that are turned up more prominently. For instance, the libido section, that dial is always on. As humans, we always have that simmering somewhere. But when the libido is in charge, that dial is turned up more so, and other dials quiet down. So it's less about putting on a different voice, or I'm not doing James McAvoy in Split. I'm doing what was attempted was just subtle variations of the same human being, where it's just a different sort of energy that's in charge, whether it's lust or anger or anxiety. Having those dials just turned up a little bit louder than the other ones, and then finding something truthful to hold on to about all of those things, instead of just playing anger, trying to understand what that anger is about, the root of that anger, instead of just playing euphoria, trying to tap into something euphoric and joyful and playful. For me, Sathya, as the actor, that could, be portrayed honestly and truthfully in those different moments. So, yeah, it definitely was a challenge, but I have some skills available to me that I know sort of how to turn those dials when I need to. So. I'm great. It's really nice to hear that you're still a little terrified of me. So I'm great.
So what's we're playing it in our festival this month. What's the current path and trajectory? I know you have a distributor. Have you been in some other festivals? What's next? Where are you going with it? Just kind of general questions like that.
Yeah. So Utopia, our distributor, is putting it out on December 4th. So be on the lookout for everyone that's able to check it out at the St. Louis International Film Fest. If you want to watch it again or recommend it, it'll be out on digital release starting December 4th. So that's the big thing that we're all working towards and really excited about is getting the word out, because obviously this was it was a really tight knit small team that put this film together, and we're really proud of the collaboration, and we're just like excited to get the word out and to generate some buzz and to have people check it out and hopefully go along and enjoy the ride that was kind of the intent of the movie.
I mean, honestly, for me, the St. Louis Film Festival is like maybe the mountaintop. I have so many people from St. Louis that are like waiting to watch this movie. I have my mom's entire collection of friends, which is like maybe half the Indian population in St. Louis, that is really excited about this movie. So, I don't know. I think I'm done here, Eric. I think my work is done on this side.
Yeah. We have a weekly e-newsletter. Have the Utopia or Circle Collective people let us know when the release is going to happen. I assume on various digital platforms, and we'll add that to our newsletter. We always love things
That'd be awesome.
With St. Louis connections. Eric, you probably don't know this, but we care a lot about where people went to high school. And Sathya went to Parkway South and then watched you.
South.
Yeah.
Let's go Patriots.
It's all right. Yeah, it's all right.
Go Patriots.
Well, you know what? It was so great to chat and meet with you both. I'm honest when I say I truly loved the film, and I was interested just from reading the first synopsis. I knew it was something I wanted to see, and I was glad that I liked it as much as I did.
Thanks,
Eric, you're an
Chris.
alum now, so keep in touch with us for future work. Now that you're even closer in Chicago, be in the real world. We can have you come visit, and then we can go. I think we can talk Sathya's mom into making us dinner. I think I'm already speaking for her, but I know what Indian mamas like to do. And Sathya, so great to meet you too. Maybe we can actually have coffee or a meal sometime next time you come in town, when the world gets better. Minor premise, one of my secret top sleeper hit favorites of the whole festival. And I'm not just saying that lightly. So thanks again, Chris, for joining me. Spend a little bit of your day today chatting with me, and hope that people in the festival enjoyed as much as I did.
Yeah, so do we. Thanks so much, Chris. We're thrilled.
Good. Take care. Have a great afternoon. Okay. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.